And of course, we're also looking at the track for this tropical storm that is likely to also develop more with the effects coming through. We're looking at a category 2 storm, but also it did start up as a depression over Madagascar, and that is close to the western side of the Indian Ocean. That has brought in very strong winds and gusting winds, and so far the effect is expected to be catastrophic. Now, this contains probable path of the storm center, and we're seeing from the image right there that is indicating an alert that was given out earlier yesterday. According to the meteorological section in Madagascar, they are confident about the moderate winds that have been forecast, and also referring to Meteo Madagascar for the forecast that was given out, that is earlier yesterday. They also did say that this will be one of the biggest storms across Madagascar this year, but has already brought in destruction across the area, the northern side especially, where we did see a lot of homes right now that have actually been affected by the floods that were associated with this tropical cyclone. And of course, now there has been also local authorities urging people to evacuate from the area. We did see the Red Cross on the ground trying to ascertain the damage and help people that have been affected by these flood events and also the strong winds. Now, some of the fragile homes were also destroyed across the northern area of Madagascar. We also did look at more of the destruction coming through because of the strong storm that was over there, especially on the shores. This is where we did also, we saw mostly a lot of destruction. But the good thing is that the forecast was given out earlier and a lot of people were able to evacuate. But of course, you also consider the fact that there are people that always remain behind in hopes that the weather will get any better. I could be looking at the first of its kind in Madagascar this year, but also no strange to the fact that this is an area that has been worst hit across the African continent when it comes to tropical cyclones. And scientists have related this to climate change. And Madagascar is not facing just the tropical storm when it comes to climate change effects. In fact, yesterday there was also a report that came out talking about the extinction in Madagascar, especially for the well-known species. We're talking about biodiversity here. Now, Madagascar could be facing, that is, when it comes to extinction, one of the unique species like the lemur that has been actually a face of Madagascar when it comes to tourism. And if you've watched the movie Penguins of Madagascar, you know some of the species that were being shown across Madagascar. This is one of them, the lemur mammals, that are now on the verge of extinction, and they're looking at that would take about 20 million years to heal, according to the scientific report that also did come out on Tuesday. Now, the South Indian Ocean island has been cut off from the African continent for over 80 years, and a separation that has developed an extraordinary array of plants and animals, and of course many of which cannot be found anywhere else on Earth. This is why it is a concern, and they're saying that this is something that needs to be preserved. Now, across the island, you also look at about 2,500 years ago, many species such as the giant lemurs, the elephant birds, the dwarfs, the hippos that started to disappear. But some mammals species are actually already extinct, and most of that has been related to the changing climate variations, but also when it comes to the weather changes. Now, you look at also some of the analysis that was made, especially when it comes to the changes across the Indian Ocean. You look at the sea surface temperatures that have been increasing, and recently we also had a forecast for an El Nino event likely to hit across the world. That is within the years 2023 and 2024. So meaning that the temperatures are rising, and we're having much more of the animals and some of these species that cannot withstand the changes. While as humans we're able to adapt, we're able to find ways to live with the changing environment, it doesn't leave animals with options, which is why most of them are now on the verge of extinction. Of course, due to starvation that does come with lack of food, due to mass immigration, because they now have to migrate to different areas to make sure that they can find what to eat. And that is the problem right there. And this is why we're also coming out to say that at this point, the climate action is not just for human beings, but also look at biodiversity and how we can save some of these animals that are on the verge of extinction. Away from that, we also want to take a look at what is happening across the country. We'll be getting into a satellite, look at what is happening for this morning over Uganda. We'll be tapping in from the UMSAT satellite, and those are indicating mostly a dry day across northern Uganda. It looks like we're also starting off dry across the eastern parts of the country. We're looking at areas of Soroti, Emoria as we speak with those open grey colors. That is indicative of sunny skies, and that is extending all the way up to parts of northwestern Uganda. We do have a few clouds though that are starting to develop for areas of Yumbe. That is extending all the way up to Arua. And of course, those are some of the systems that we do expect could develop a little bit later in the afternoon to bring us some rains, especially for the western stretch. But we're also looking at sunny intervals for the Elgon area across Mbale. We have a mix of clouds and sunshine right as we speak. Also same conditions across Kampala, Mukono, Wakiso. We're looking at a mix of clouds and sunshine. But again, we're also looking at some cool weather for the southwestern part of the country, also starting off with a mix of clouds and sunshine. And it looks like we do have a few systems that are also starting to develop over Lake Victoria, and that is likely to bring us rains, especially towards the eastern side. If you look at areas of Tororo, Jinja, we could be looking at also wet weather activities for later in the afternoon. But also temperatures are still up. We're talking about areas, especially when you look at northern Uganda. We continue to talk about mostly dry weather. We continue to talk about more sunshine coming through. That means that temperatures will be up, and you can expect that to continue through the weekend. We do have a likelihood of rains picking up, especially as we head into Saturday and Sunday, but that will be across the southern part of the country. That is where we do expect that a few rains will pick up, and of course across the Lake Victoria Basin. But that is also related to the fact that it will be due to the local effect, of course, with Lake Victoria coming in. Then we also have the Elgon area where they do have the mountain influencing the local weather. Otherwise, the rest of the country might still have to continue with a mix of clouds and sunshine. Now, what else we have for you this morning? We want to look at what you can expect for your weekend. And of course, we always give you what to look for in the movie theaters, but also you look at the cinema world. If you're streaming online, what movies are trending? Now, if you are someone who actually loves cinema, then there is this movie that has been showing and of course giving you a good story. We're talking about the movie Babylon. Now, in the story of Babylon, they take you through a journey of decency and depravity, outrageous access lead to the rise and fall of several ambitious dreamers in Hollywood. Now, when you talk about Hollywood, there are some names that do come across, and that is Brad Pitt being part of that. That is quite a story right there. It does feature actors like Brad Pitt, of course, well known for his appearance in in Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It does have big names like Marilyn in there, Margot Robbie, who has also had appearances in movies like Suicide Squad. All the 2 movies of Suicide Squad, she was there. That is Margot Robbie. You also have Tobey Maguire, who has actually featured in a lot of Hollywood movies, and some of the big characters. We'll take a look into the trailer and see what to expect from Babylon.
I think what we have here in Hollywood is high art. It's
party time, Michael Fox! If you could go anywhere in the whole world, where would you go?
I always want to be part of something bigger.
Yes.
Let's go! Something that lasts, that means something.
You know, when I first moved to LA,
I got your face touching you, Linda.
you know what the signs on all the doors read? No actors or dogs allowed. I changed that. Morning.
Good job for you. I'll do anything.
That's the jackass they sent to screw us.
This bitch is stealing the scene right from under me. She's icing her nipples so they perk up through her dress.
I ain't icing my nipples. This is natural. Where do you say we come in for my close-up now?
What are your thoughts for the future?
Shouldn't stand in the way of progress.
This is gonna be what it's gonna be. Here's the twist. Whoa!
The girl seems nice.
She is. She has no idea what's next.
There's a new sensibility now. People care about morals.
I've never done nothing except disappoint people my whole life. But I made it on my terms, not theirs.
We are going to be more than they ever bargained for.
What I do means something.
It's bigger than you.
They're doing his thing and of course bringing in the action, the comedy and a lot of freaky stuff in there. But this movie is already showing at cinema and of course you can catch it over the weekend and go for it. Now there is a movie coming out today on Netflix and it is called Django. It is a story on a post-apocalyptic near future. Now, this is a researcher at a lab leading the effort to end civil war by cloning the brain of a heroic soldier, her mother. And of course, now this brings in action of bringing robotics, but also about cloning. This is a movie that is coming out today on Netflix, and of course, taking a look into some of the Korean culture in there as well. But as they advance to the future, what happens in a world that has almost disappeared? That is a story in the movie Django. It will be coming out today. And of course, the trailer does show actually the Korean version of it, but the English version is already available on Netflix, and that you can go for. It is from the producers of the movie Hellbound. It's actually a series, Hellbound, still showing on Netflix, bringing in all that is related to the movie Django. Let's take a look at the trailer.
해수면의 상승과 자원의 고갈, 우주에 세워진 쉘터에서의 인간은 새로운 기회를 맞게 됐습니다. 그녀가 가진 모든 전술, 전투 기술, 강한 충성심과 의지까지도 가지고 있는 최고의 전투 지휘 AI를 개발할 것입니다. 저희는 이 프로그램을 정의라고 칭할 계획입니다. 팔을 잘라내
제발 잘.
It is an adventure, it is action, it is a thriller, it is sci-fi right in there. But also another movie that is gracing cinema. We're talking about Marvel. If you're someone who loves Marvel, you know something about Ant-Man and the Wasp. Now they're coming out with another movie this year that is Quantumania. That is the one coming out. Now Ant-Man and the Wasp find themselves exploring the quantum realm. And of course now in this realm they are interacting with strange new creatures and embarking on an adventure that pushes them both beyond the limits. Now, what they thought was possible is now in question. That is what to look out for in this new Ant-Man and Wasp movie. Of course, now it is featuring actresses like Kaylin Newton. Kaylin Newton has been across the Marvel movies as well. Jonathan Majors, who has also had appearances in Marvel movies. Of course, that takes in Nick Fury, who is in the Avengers. And of course, Nick Fury still plays a role as being the father of the Avengers. He's also in there, but you also look at the new actors and actresses that are coming to join in the movie Marvel's, in the Marvel community. And of course, talking about the Avengers, but also what some of the Avengers that we can expect from to join in with Ant-Man and the Wasp. We do know the Avengers kind of show up in any Marvel movie. Now let's take a look into the trailer.
You're an interesting man, Scott Lang. You're an Avenger. You have a daughter, but you've lost a lot of time, like me. We can help each other with that. Who are you? I'm the man who can give you the one thing you want. What's that? Time.
I trust him.
I don't care who this guy is. I just lost so much. He can give us a second chance.
You make this easy for you. You will bring me what I need. Or everything you call a life.
This is all my fault.
win.
And of course, you do have a new man right there. That is Jonathan Majors making appearance in Ant-Man and the Wasp. And of course, that is already showing in cinema, and you can get yourself a ticket and make sure that this weekend is actually good for you if you are a fan of any of those movies. We do have sports coming up, and Ruben is already here to take you through most of those updates. Right now, we'll be taking a short break, and when we come back, we talk sports.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Professional guidance.
There is no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
And of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied giving credit to my server.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to voted for Anita Monga Ntayebo?
That is laughable. Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
Every party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only
by one MP, you yourself.
And my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
King Day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma.
Ruben is my name. I'm going to give you sports. And I was actually discussing with Fakul of Air about the way Spurs collapsed yesterday in the second half. Many would think that some teams bet, but I think City were so good. When they got their first goal in the first 10 minutes, I knew it was going to be difficult for Spurs to get back at Etihad. And indeed, they conceded 4 goals against an energized second half Man City. And for me, if that game was played in Uganda here, between Express and a certain team, they would think that there's some bit of betting involved somewhere. But anyway, that's football for you. It was a game of 2 halves, and City did come to the party by beating Spurs 4-2. But the question is, Antonio Conte, does he need to go into the window and buy players? Does he need even a window to buy players? It's already January, and it's a few days to the end of the month. So Conte has like 6, 7, 8, 10 days to get in players who can really steady the ship. But as things are, Antonio Conte looks so much to be in trouble with the Spurs team. Anyway, but we had games played last night. Spurs did lose to City at home by 4-2. We had also games the Serie A. Juve did beat Monza 2-1. Madrid came from behind. Actually, the City game, as City were trading 2-0 in the first half. Madrid also were trading 2-0 against Villarreal, and they came back stronger and got three second half goals from Junior Militao and Dani Ceballos gave Madrid that comfortable 3. Okay, that hard fought 3-2 win against Villarreal, and the Barcelona won by 5. Then PSG did also win that game where Messi played against Ronaldo, and the game ended 5-4 in favor of PSG. That is Paris Saint-Germain. Well, tomorrow we have a couple of games tomorrow that will be played. English Premier League returns. That is tomorrow. Liverpool will take on Chelsea in the early kickoff in England at 5. That they will be playing against Chelsea. That will be at 3:30 if that's the time, Edmond. Then we will have Bournemouth taking on Forest at 6. Leicester will be in action against Brighton. Then Southampton will take on Aston Villa at St Mary's. West Ham will take on Everton. That will be at but the new stadium for West Ham. And then, of course, Palace will take on Newcastle at 8:30. Those will be the games in England. And, of course, on Sunday, the big one is actually the Arsenal Man U meeting. They will be playing against each other. That will be at 7:30. But, of course, City will earlier on take on Wolves, and Brentford will travel to Elland Road to take on Leeds United. That will be in the English Premier League. Of course, in the Serie A, games will also commence. Hellas Verona will take on Lecce, that will be in the Serie A. Then Salernitana will play against Napoli, and we'll have Fiorentina against Torino. That will be tomorrow. Then on Sunday in the Serie A as well, Sampdoria will take on Udinese. Monza will take on Sassuolo. Then Spezia against Roma, and Juve will take on Atalanta. That will be the last game on Sunday at 10:45. Juve will be hosting Atalanta. That is in the Italian Serie A. Then, of course, in Spanish La Liga as well, we'll have a couple of games that will commence tomorrow. La Liga will have Vallecano against Sociedad. España will take on Real Madrid, rather Real Betis. Atletico Madrid will take on Real Valladolid. Then Sevilla will take on Cadiz. That will be tomorrow. Then on Sunday, Villarreal will take on Girona. Elche against Osasuna. Barcelona will take on Getafe, and Bilbao will take on Real Madrid. That will be in the Spanish La Liga. But of course, the German Bundesliga returns tomorrow. I've seen a couple of games here from German Bundesliga, where those who love the Germans would love okay, they're happy that the league is back. The Bundesliga is back. Of course, we shall have Bochum against Hertha Berlin. Frankfurt will take on Schalke. Then Union Berlin will take on Hoffenheim. Stuttgart will take on Mainz. Freiburg will be traveling to Wolfsburg at the VW Arena to take on Wolfsburg. Then Cologne will take on Werder Bremen. That will be in the German Bundesliga. How can I live without talking about basketball? Of course I can't. We had games that were played early this morning, and I will report to you that Celtics did beat the Warriors. That was 121-118. We had the Wolves beating the Raptors 128-126. Then the Suns did beat the Nets 117-112. And finally, the Blazers lost to the 76ers. Joel Embiid 105-95 for the Blazers. Tomorrow morning, the Magic will take on the Pelicans, and that game will be at 3 at the Army. Is it Army Center? Yeah, true, it's Army Center. Then at around 3:30, that will be at the State Farm Arena. We'll have the Hawks taking on the New York Knicks. That is in NBA regular season. Then the Warriors will take on the Cavs at 3:30 as well. That is tomorrow morning. Then the Mavericks will take on the Heat. The Spurs will take on the Clippers. The Nuggets will take on the Pacers. The Jazz will take on the Nets. And lastly, the Grizzlies will be in action at 6 a.m. They will be taking on the Lakers, and that game will be at the Crypto.com Arena. That is NBA for you. I've got to go, but the games to look out for, we have the Arsenal-Manchester game on Sunday. Then tomorrow, the Chelsea take on Liverpool. That's a good one to open the leagues. And of course, in Italy, you can catch Juventus against Atlanta. That game will be on Sunday. Sunday at 10:45. That will be an end-to-end game. Atlanta love attacking, and Juve have the players that can attack. So it will be a good one to catch. And I know that many of you wouldn't want to watch Bilbao against Madrid. They would just love to watch Atlanta taking on the old lady. That is the Bianconeri, the Juventus that team for me. And I know that many would love to watch the old lady play. Old lady, not these ladies of Uganda who are old. No, the nickname for Juventus is old lady. So I'm not talking about these Fakul women. But anyway, I've got to go. Catch you on Monday. I will leave the floor to Felix Sanfillo. I'll take you through up to the final minutes, and of course the Pan-African Friday will be here to also take you through. But the predictions, I'll ask Edmond to post on his page to give you what he thinks the Kapapula. You know, Eddie Mwesi has a Kapapula somewhere. So Spurs lost to City. I don't know what the teams he gave yesterday, but I think but those who love betting, Eddie Mwesi can sort you out. Have yourselves a lovely weekend. Bye for now. Good morning.
Live from Now Avenue in UBC Studios. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Every waking day is a reminder just how beautiful this, our land, truly is. The kind of beauty that you can only find here, in the lush green all around us and the wondrous sights within. It's in the distinct aroma of our cooking, to the taste of food that takes you on a journey, in the sound of homecoming and the sound of Mother Earth, in the magnificence we find on our travels and the exciting moments we experience. Ours is the kind of beauty that comes in all things big and small. All we have to do is awaken our senses and truly enjoy what's uniquely ours. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Professional guidance.
There is no special antiretroviral therapy that is given specifically for discordant couples.
And of course, politics.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for Anita Monga and Tayebo?
That is laughable. Why would we pay when we have nominated them as SEC?
The Sovereign Party has been represented in Uganda's parliament for 10 years. We only
by one MP, you yourself.
And my daughter, Susan.
Every Friday 9 p.m. it's One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukomwa on UBC TV, inspiring Uganda.
This is Good Morning Uganda.
Morning Uganda Friday special. We are still with you. Of course, we are trying to wind up, cross all the T's and dot all the I's. But the weekend is here, and I really want to know the plan from Felix, from our very special guest, Mitch. What's the plan? Maybe actually I think I need to start off with Felix, and then we'll leave the big guy for the day to let Felix. What's up? What's the plan?
Well, weekend is here. It's going to be spending time with family, a little bit of that. And church definitely on Sunday. That's a must. This year is dedicated to lots of reconnecting with God, and of course a little bit some time with the boys.
Okay.
A little bit.
Well,
a little bit maybe.
I think I'm going to be, most of my weekend I'm going to spend it with a couple of friends here and there. Sunday, I'm not going to lie, I don't know, church, it's we'll see. But Mitch, the weekend is here, what's the plan?
It's January and I'm staying away. Yeah, guys should not call me. Yeah.
Please put your phone in flight mode.
But
January.
I'm January, but yeah, I'm still on holiday, so. But Feb, yeah, I'll be around.
You'll be around. Please don't call Mitch. He has said, just don't call him Miss January. Give the man a break.
Yeah.
Well, Mitch over here is a spoken word artist, and he's given us 2 performances so far. Very briefly before we get into the final performance, Mitch, how long have you been doing this for?
I think 2018, yeah, to now. Those are 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 2 years of lockdown don't count. I didn't do anything, so.
So like, where do you do this? Do you perform on events and what? Like, how do you put it out there for people to appreciate it?
Yeah, actually.
Do you do social media? Do you record it? Like, how do you put it out there?
Yeah, you can see I'm putting on a shirt. It has Enda. Yeah, this is, I dropped like an EP. EP is an extended playlist of some of my work. So it is up for streaming. And
so where can we get this? Which platforms?
You know, like all streaming platforms, iTunes,
okay, what do you
Spotify.
use? What's the username? How do we look
Mitch Isabide. Like, you just go to Google, the options will come. Mitch Isabide.
Mitch Isabide.
Yes.
Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as well?
Twitter, Mitch_Isabide, Kasokoso's Finest, then yeah,
Kasokoso's Finest.
Yeah, then TikTok.
I like that.
Mitch_Isabide, then Facebook, Mitch Isabide, Instagram, Mitch Isabide, then Mobile Man as well. But yeah, for now.
This man. Well, mobile money is the most important thing in all of this, Mitch Isabide. Those that's it, Mitch Isabide. We love you, but we have to leave you. The weekend is officially here. Please go, be kind, be nice. Don't be a spendthrift, because the economy is not exactly the best. So we're trying as much as we can to save that money. But of course, Mitch will be giving us the final performance as we get into the weekend. Bye.
For that moment, because the economy is hard, my last piece is called Toliweka, yeah? Hopefully you enjoy. Ani ayina ebitaano abimpe. Omulanga muguwulira. Nawe obajja olimanya nti toliweka. Ekiri ewo kye kiri n'ewange, lwakuba abali ewo si be bali ewange. Eno embeera eyungula amaziga. Etujjamu amaaso nga ziga. Ndi mu lugendo lwa kunoonya mubeezi, Kampala ba wife material bangi lwakuba embuto nnene, kyokka n'abalina figa ssente bazisabisa viga. Buli omu wagguma emitwe gya ndiga, n'okulabika obubi eno ewaffe bakukaliga. Obwavu kwetta, tewali akwekwatako kaberesere ng'oyita mu nsiko. Ekyemisana twakivaako kyafuuka kirowoozo. Balandi road tetukyanyumya, tubayitako tebatemya. WhatsApp social media tetukyabuuza ku bantu, buli gw'obuuza hayi ng'akusabayo omutwalo. Tuli mu kuteekawo nsalo. Gundi ng'obuze mpa ku ssente naawe buli ozifune gakyali mabaga. Ensonyi twazinaabye, buli wiiki WhatsApp group ya mbaga, poliisi ennaku zino ekuŋŋaanya ssente za pledge. Nze mbadde nteesa eza decoration bazongere ku mmere. Ab'omu kyalo banyiivu ssente sikyabaweereza, abakyala banyiivu ku nsonga z'akameeza, baside chick nabo tebatuweeza, kyokka yo URM solo tekowa kugisolooza, naye nga mukene awomera mu binyeebwa embeera si yakwekoza. Ani ayina ebitaano abimpe, omulanga muguwulira? Yeah. Hopefully you guys have a good time here. That's my time.
This